Ronnie Long convicted of rape.
Can you imagine being locked away for 44 years for something you didn't do? That's exactly what passed off to Ronnie Long. In 1976, on the young age of 21, Ronnie changed into sentence to life in prison for the rape of a white girl in Concord, North Carolina. He had no idea that his life could be ripped away from him within the blink of an eye. Despite having no physical evidence tying him to the crime, an all-white jury convicted him. Why? Because he changed into a black guy in a system riddled with racial bias. For the subsequent a long time, he might combat for his freedom, but why did it take goodbye? Why did the system fail him so spectacularly? Let's rewind to the day of the attack that modified Ronnie's existence all the time. In April 1976, a woman changed into brutally assaulted and raped in her domestic in Concord. The case quick had become an excessive profile one within the local community. But what led the police to Ronnie Long? The victim, to begin with, described her attacker as a mild-skinned black man. But because the investigation went on, the story shifted.
The plant evidence, because that green, lime green toboggan eye, like I said, I had never seen that before in my life.
Despite Ronnie now not matching the outline in any respect, law enforcement zeroed in on him. They were under strain to solve the case, and Ronnie became their goal simply due to the color of his skin. There turned into no forensic evidence linking him to the scene, and his alibi turned into strong. So, why become he arrested? It turned into racial profiling at its worst. The local community, fueled by way of racial tension, was eager for a conviction, and Ronnie have become the scapegoat. When Ronnie's trial started, it quick have become clear that justice changed into no longer the priority. The prosecution didn't have any physical proof, no DNA, no fingerprints, nothing that might link Ronnie to the crime. Yet, they proceeded. The sufferer's identity of Ronnie as her attacker came weeks after the attack, and it became heavily prompted through the police. In fact, they all used suggestive techniques to push the sufferer to pick out Ronnie out of a lineup. Even more stunning, 43 fingerprints observed at the crime scene didn't inshape Ronnie's, but this proof became withheld from the defense. A rape package which could have exonerated him quite simply disappeared. The jury, all white. The final results, 2 life sentences. It changed into an open and close case for the prosecution. However, not due to justice. It became a travesty, fueled by means of racial bias and gross misconduct with the aid of law enforcement. How does something like this take place? Can you believe waking up each day in a prison cell, understanding you're harmless but powerless to show it? That was Ronnie's truth for 44 lengthy years. He spent more than 4 many years in North Carolina's toughest prisons, cut off from the sector and the humans he loved. Think about how a whole lot the sector modifications in 44 years, technology, society, everything. Ronnie ignored it all. He overlooked birthdays, holidays, weddings, and funerals. Life outside persevered without him, even as he sat in a mobile. It's difficult to even realize the mental and emotional toll that could tackle someone. How do you keep directly to desire while it feels like the world has forgotten you? For Ronnie, every day turned into a reminder of the injustice he confronted, but he by no means stopped believing in his innocence. He by no means gave up. Throughout the years, Ronnie fought tirelessly to clean his name. He filed appeal after attraction, most effective to be denied time and time again. But in 2005, things started to trade. The Duke University Wrongful Convictions Clinic took on his case.
He cut loose from bondage. I wanted to rip it run. I want to smell the air. I want to go in the woods.
And that they exposed shocking new proof that had been hidden in the course of his trial. For years, investigators had hid evidence that could have confirmed Ronnie's innocence. It wasn't just 1 or 2 portions of proof, it was a mountain of it. Fingerprints that didn't healthy, the lacking rape kit, witness memories that didn't upload up. The health center fought tooth and nail to carry this new proof to light. However, the criminal system was slow to respond. Ronnie's fight for justice dragged on for years. However, he by no means gave up. And eventually, after a long time of battling the courts, there was a step forward. In August 2020, after a long time of felony battles, a federal appeals court docket finally took action. They ordered a new listening to for Ronnie, and shortly after, his conviction became vacated. Can you consider what it must have felt want to hear the words, "You're loose"? After 44 years, Ronnie was sooner or later in a position to walk out of prison. But the sector he returned to turned into not the only he had left. He had entered jail in his early 20s, full of hopes and goals, and now he changed into in his 60s. The international outside had changed dramatically, generation, the humans, everything. But Ronnie wasn't worried with catching up on modern life. For him, freedom was about reclaiming the years he had lost, despite the fact that they could by no means really be replaced. Walking out of jail must were a second of pure pleasure, but for Ronnie it became bittersweet. How do you even begin to method 44 lost years? His launch was filled with emotion. There was joy of path, however also anger, unhappiness, and deep reflection.
We love you, man.
He missed out on the entirety. He changed into reunited along with his circle of relatives. However, the pain of being absent for so many years still lingers. Ronnie has spoken about how tough it was to modify to lifestyles at the outside. Simple things like the usage of a phone or navigating the internet were completely foreign to him. But extra than the technological modifications, it was the emotional toll that weighed on him. How do you rebuild a life that turned into taken from you for so long? Can you ever truly heal from something like that? After his launch, Ronnie didn't simply stroll away, he demanded responsibility. In 2021, he filed a civil lawsuit towards the city of Concord and the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation. The case highlighted the misconduct, corruption, and racial bias that led to his wrongful conviction. In 2024, Ronnie obtained a historic $25 million agreement, one of the largest wrongful conviction settlements ever awarded in the United States.
Now, the amount that he can get.
The settlement wasn't pretty much the money. It was approximately the city and the nation finally acknowledging their role inside the injustice. Concord's written apology to Ronnie became a powerful declaration, admitting their screw-ups and expressing remorse for the decades of struggling he continued. But no sum of money or apologies can surely make amends for the existence Ronnie lost. The $25 million settlement can also sound like loads, but what is 44 years of your existence really worth?
Writing, calling, emailing.
Ronnie lost greater than just time behind bars. He misplaced the risk to stay a normal existence. He missed out on circle of relatives moments, relationships, opportunities, and the simple joy of being free. His adolescence became stolen from him. Think about the lifestyles you've lived during the last 44 years, the human beings you've met, the studies you've had, the belongings you've found out. Now believe having all of that taken away. That's what happened to Ronnie. He missed weddings, births, graduations, matters we regularly take without any consideration. Even though he's now unfastened, he's going to in no way get those years again. The settlement and the apology assist, but they can in no way simply make up for what became lost. So, what's next for Ronnie Long? After 44 years of injustice, how do you even start to move forward? Ronnie is now in his 60s, trying to build an existence for himself out of doors of prison. He's running on reconnecting along with his family and locating a few sense of normalcy. But the scars of his imprisonment run deep. Adjusting to lifestyles at the out of doors has been challenging, but Ronnie is decided to make the most of the years he has left. His story is a powerful reminder of the failings in our justice gadget, and he's turned out to be an advocate for reform, speaking out approximately the significance of fighting for justice and duty. His story forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about racial bias and wrongful convictions. How many greater people like Ronnie are nonetheless sitting in prison for crimes they didn't commit, and what can we do to alternate the machine? Ronnie Long's tale is one of resilience, energy, and the unrelenting pursuit of justice. After 44 years of wrongful imprisonment, his name has subsequently been cleared, but the scars of those misplaced years will by no means completely heal. His case is a sobering reminder of the deep flaws inside our justice system and the racial biases that keep to plague it. We ought to ask ourselves what number of more human beings like Ronnie Long are available, nevertheless combating for their freedom. His story demanding situations us to do so, to demand responsibility and to work in the direction of a destiny where justice is surely blind. If this story moved you or made you suspect, don't forget to like, proportion and comment under. And if you need to hear greater memories like this, enroll in the channel and hit the bell icon to stay up to date. Together we can ensure that tales like Ronnie's don't pass unheard.